Revit 2027 is out and we have a lot of new features and updates to show. There is an AI Assistant feature and there are also some good features too. Let's go. With the release of Revit 2027, we have some really interesting changes. In this video, I will be focusing on the architecture-related features as well as some overall updates. We will be skipping the structure-related features as that will be covered in another video that I will release soon. And features related to Forma integration, which is mainly the context import and wind analysis, will also be covered in a separate video. So make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss it. Now, before we jump into Revit 2027, I would just like to mention that we have an all-new course on the scan to BIM process, or in other words, using point clouds in Revit, that has just been released on balkanarchitect.com. I will link it in the cards above and also down in the description of this video. Also, on our website, you can find all of our Revit courses. We are an Autodesk authorized training center and we offer over 150 hours of learning content. This Scan to BIM course has been made in collaboration with Undead, which is the sponsor of this video. Undead for Revit is a powerful point cloud plugin that enhances the Scan to BIM workflow directly inside of Revit. It allows users to work with point clouds more efficiently by creating precise slices, automating modeling tasks such as walls, floors, and openings, and reducing the manual effort by up to 2 times. The plugin improves both speed and accuracy, supports a wide range of point cloud formats, and includes tools for quality control and model validation, making it an essential solution for professionals working on BIM projects based on reality capture. Link to the Undead for Revit will be up in the cards above and also down in the description of this video. So now, without any further ado, let's jump straight into Revit 2027. And here we are in Revit 2027. Now, the first tool that I want to show you is right here on the Manage tab, and that's the new numbering tool. So this is really impressive because it allows you to set a relationship between elements in Revit and set an algorithm basically that's going to allow you to number elements automatically according to the rules you set up. So in this particular example, you can see we have this corridor and then we have some rooms and we have some doors. Now for these doors, you can see we have these labels, and the labels are not really corresponding to the rooms. And let's say this is something that we want to do. We want to make sure that the labels on doors correspond to the room numbers in a way. So if I select this door, you can see that the mark parameter is 100, and that's what the label is reading. So this is what we need to set up. So now I'm just going to go here to numbering, open that up, and it's going to open up a menu that looks like this. Now first we need to create a new template. So you click here and then we create a new template. Let's call this one the door numbering. Click OK. Now we have a new template, so let's apply a scope. So we do this through filters. So I'm just going to create a new filter for this. So let's go to new, and this will be a door numbering filter. Click OK. For the category, let's search for doors and pick that. And now here for rules, I'm just going to go with doors, and then let's go with something like comment, and then I'm just going to go does not equal to E. So basically, if the comment parameter does not equal E, which I'm going to just include for excluded, then the door is going to be applied. So that's perfectly fine. Hit apply, OK. And now here we need to pick out that parameter, so the door numbering filter. Perfect. So next we need to assign a numbering parameter. I'm just going to use the mark parameter because that's the one which is feeding this label. Then we have the partitioning, so I'm just going to click here on edit, and then the parameter value I'm just going to set for to room, so it's opening to room, and then let's go with room number. and then include that one. Click OK. Moving forward, for the numbering format, I'm just going to click on Edit, and then here let's set this up. So we're just going to go with skip if single. Then here let's go to room, so it's opening to the room, and then number, include that, and I'm just going to move this one up. We can assign a prefix, a suffix, a separator, so we can kind of build this out just like we could, for example, for some combined parameters or something like that. Now here I'm also going to set up the values as lowercase letters. So basically what this means is it's going to set up the value of that mark parameter to the room number. So to the room to which the door is opening, it's going to use that number. Now, if there's more doors, then it's going to go down, and instead of numbers, I'm just going to go here with lowercase values. Now, if I change this value to 101, for example, this is what that would look like. So if it's opening up to room 101 and there is more of them, it's going to be 101A. So now click OK and hit apply, and there we go. Click OK, and this is what we now get. So you can see we have room 101 and the door mark has been changed to 101. This is 102 and so on and so forth. So it's all corresponding to the room names. For the corridor, it has two doors, and then one is 100A and another one is 100B. So that's really cool. Another thing is that this is now fixed in place. So if I go here and place another door, just like that, and then let's assign just a tag. Now you can see here that this is 10B. Now this one kind of took a while to update, but this is what we get. Now, what happens if we flip this door to the other side? Well, now this should change to 100C because it's the third door, but it doesn't. So if you want to actually apply that change, what you need to do is just go to pick new host and then just reapply it, just like that. And now, hopefully, let's see. Oh, no, it's we need to repeat that again. So it needs to kind of stay in the same direction, and then select the door, pick a new host, and now if we flip it, yeah, as you can see, now it's going to be 100C. So just keep that in mind when it comes to using this new feature. Now let's talk about the Autodesk Assistant. Revit is officially entering the world of AI, and now if I go here to the View tab and go to User Interface and activate the Autodesk Assistant, it will appear here as another palette. So Autodesk Assistant is basically an AI within Revit. So here we have some tabs. We have the chat, we have my insights, we have the prompt library, so you can basically save your prompts, you have your chat history, and finally you have some settings. Now you can see that this is in tech preview, so we can expect this to be updated over time, and yeah, this being an AI, I'm guessing they're going to be making changes kind of on the fly, and with user data it should hopefully become better. Now for the Autodesk Assistant, basically it can do a few things. It can help you find particular solutions based on your model, so basically asking about what to do in terms of your kind of model context. Then you have the ability to query your model, so basically ask the AI to provide you with information on the model. And finally, and most importantly, you have the power to change, so make changes inside of the model through the AI. So let me show you all three of those. So for example, for this particular model, let's say I want to just double check which view template I should use on L2, and I can just say here which template should I use on L2. Hit enter and then wait for a few moments for the answer. So it's basically telling us kind of what the thought process was, and at the end it's giving us kind of what are the options which we can choose from, and then it gave us a kind of a conclusion that architectural plan view template is typically the best option for in this case the L2. And it's even asking me, would I like to apply these templates to our L2 floor plan, which is cool. It can actually do that itself. Now, we're going to be doing that a bit later on. Now, let's move on to the next one, which is kind of getting queried. So just getting information from the model itself. So I can ask it, for example, how many windows do we have that have a width that's larger than 800 millimeters? And after a little bit of thinking, it's giving us information. Now, this does take a while, so keep in mind that it's not going to give you an instant result. It is going to show you kind of the thought process. So it's just doing the math, going from millimeters to feet, because I think this is the imperial model, and then it's continuing that. So in total, we have 73 windows with a width larger than 800 millimeters. So you can just ask it if you have any questions about the model, and it will provide that, which I think is really cool. And then finally, let's actually make some changes in the model. So let's do a door schedule. So I'm just going to ask it for a door schedule that's going to have a height, width of the doors, and also on which level those doors are. In addition to that, I'm going to ask it to sort by the level, give us a blank space in between levels, and give us the count of all of the doors on each level, as well as the total count for doors. Let's see what it will do with that. And now it's starting to work on that. And there we go. We have a completed schedule. It's telling us where it is. So it's in the project browser under schedule quantities. So there it is. And I'm guessing here it's at the one that's kind of not sorted here in the project browser. And this is what we have. It's the door schedule. Okay, I have the today's date, so that's useful. And here we have the family, the width, height, and level. It is sorted by level. So here on parking, this is how many we have, and I don't see the blank line in between those, so I guess it missed that. Available project, a blank line separating each level group. So yeah, that's something that I wanted to see, but I don't really see a blank line. We just get the value here. Perhaps that's the blank line. I don't know. So yeah, this is what we have. Do we have the total number? I don't see the total number as well. So yeah, I guess it did make some mistakes. We don't have the total. Yeah. Okay, that's strange. So yeah, this is what we got. So it's great, I think. It did kind of get us almost there, but yeah, so that's interesting. Also something that I've been kind of testing around and saw, obviously you can't really do everything. It's not going to make all that many changes in the model. In a lot of cases, it's just going to tell you, yeah, can't do that. But for example, if I open up a level like this, level 2, and then here in this level, we have some doors. And let's say I'm just going to change the sill height for this door to 1 inch. Oops. 1 inch. Okay, so I've changed the sill height, and then I'm going to say here, use the sill height for this particular door, so the selected door, and apply it to all doors in the level 2. And hit submit. Now we seem to have an issue because some of the doors are grouped, so I'll have to ungroup those, which is kind of a major change that you're making to the model just for the AI to do its work. And yeah, so now they all have the same value. So if I now select any door here on level 2, yeah, it has the same sill height. So yeah, it can kind of figure out what you're telling it, and it can make some changes in the model. I think it's really cool that we have this. I do still find it a little bit inefficient in terms of how much time it takes for it to do a task. And also, I've seen a lot of people on the forums are kind of afraid when we see those AI hallucinations. What if it hallucinates and make too big of a change in the model, and we're then not sure, okay, so where was that change made? Did it change something that they don't really see or something like that? So I think it's really new still, and I do have high hopes for it. So I'll continue to make some new videos on the AI assistant or the Autodesk Assistant in the future. So for this AI assistant, I have shown you how to use it on the old Snowden Towers sample project. However, keep in mind that this sample project has been updated, so feel free to explore it. But more importantly, what we now have is a new residential sample project. So let's open that up. So this is what that looks like. It's a residential home in California, I believe, and yeah, this is what it looks like. So if I turn it to shaded, yeah, there we go. So it's an interesting model. It has some interesting design options, so feel free to explore it. And here I want to demonstrate another new feature, which is accelerated graphics. Well, this isn't new, but it has been updated, and now it's finally out of the tech preview. So now it's kind of a official feature, I guess, and you'll see that it's better in a lot of ways in terms of just supporting things that weren't supported in the past, like applying transparency, halftone options, and so on. Now, the one that's most impressive for me, and I think it's the biggest change, is with the section box. So when you apply a section box, before it used to be when you cut, it basically just shows you the end result you have to release. Here, when we cut, as you can see, it goes straight through and shows you as you're cutting what's going on. So it's a lot easier to set up your section box like this when you can actually see what's going on when you're cutting. One bug that I did notice is when you stop and then expand, it doesn't show you. You have to kind of release it and then it works again. So I don't know what's the deal with that. Hopefully it will be fixed soon, but yeah, that's the update when it comes to accelerated graphics. Moving forward, we have some enhancements when it comes to leaders for tags. So if I go here to annotate and then go to tag by category, and here I'm just going to turn on the leader line. You obviously have the option for attached end, or you can use free end. If I just go to attached end and now just apply it like so, what you'll notice is that we no longer have only the option for the attached end, we also have attached start option. And here you can see that we have these little kind of two clips on the tag itself and on the wall. So basically, if you change this, you can actually move where that leader line is on the on the tag itself. And then, of course, if you unclip it here, you can move it on the wall, and then you can make some adjustments if you want like that. And yeah, you can kind of clip it back in place. But yeah, it's going to move. And yeah, this one is the same way. So now we have a bit more flexibility when it comes to these leader lines, and we can attach it or make it free on both ends. Speaking of tags, if I just hit the escape key a couple of times and go back to tags and then tag all, what you'll notice now is that for tags, we do have the option for all of these that we have the option to set up a multi-category tag here in the tag all not tagged menu. So we have that, and also we have a new category here, or a new option for stairs. Now stair paths can be tagged as well, so we can do that. And then speaking of stairs, we have now a new option when it comes to numbering the treads. So here on the tag panel, we have the tread number, and we can basically apply tread numbers to stairs. And here, if I select those, we have some of the parameters here in the properties, but the edit type was grayed out previously. With Revit 2027, it's no longer grayed out, and we can actually make some changes here. So for example, you can make changes to the color, you can make it bold, for example, you can change the size of the text if you want, and so on. But more importantly, you can use an alternative graphic and alternative text for above the cut mark. So this is the cut mark, and then you can have a different graphical style and text for the numbers that are above. So the numbers below and above the cut mark can be different. So for example, here, if I change this to light gray like that, and then not make it bold, and then hit apply, perhaps make it even smaller like this, and apply, Okay, release. Now, as you can see, these numbers below the cut mark will be much larger and bold and black, and these will be gray and small. So you can customize that. Now let's talk about some of the wall tool enhancements. So when it comes to the wall tool, if I start the wall tool, what you'll notice now is that we do have the option to check and uncheck room bounding before we actually place the wall. This wasn't available previously. Also here within the draw tools, you'll notice we have the place by room and place by segment. Before, these were kind of buttons that were here off to the side. Now they're all included here. Yeah, you can see that the option bar is now completely gone, and all of the tools and options from the option bar are now here on the ribbon. We have the offset, the radius, the chain, check on, check off. We have the auto join, the height, depth, and then is it unconnected, to which level it's going, and the height. So all of that is now here on the ribbon. Now here, if I want to place a wall like this using the place by segment or place by room, this is something that was introduced with the previous versions of Revit, and now it's just kind of continuing to evolve. So basically this is for creating compound walls when you want to have a wall that's made out of multiple walls. You can do that with this option here. So you can set it to the interior or exterior side, let's say interior side, because we're placing it here in the interior. And then we have this hosted wall option. Now what this does is basically it connects the wall to that new wall. So now they basically have a relationship between these two walls. And if I select this wall, which is now hosted, you can see here we have the option to remove the hosted relationship so that it's no longer connected to this wall. We also have the ability to pick new host if we want. So if we want to place it to the other side, we can do that. Also here in the properties, we have the offset from host, so we can apply an offset. So if I apply 50 millimeters or 100 millimeters, it will just apply that offset here, and now they're connected with that offset. So if you need to have an air layer or something like that, you can do that with this option. And then you can remove that relationship and then just move them independently. Now I'm just going to delete that one, and I want to show you another thing, which is with doors. So if you have auto joint turned on, when you click, it's going to basically place that and make an opening for that door. Now, if we don't do that, when we place that wall, it's not going to work. So just keep that in mind. Make sure that auto join is turned on for this. And even if you add an offset, so even if you add a 100 millimeter offset, as you can see, it's still going to make an opening for that door. Now, if we move this away, it's still connected. We're just basically increasing the offset from host here. So just kind of keep that in mind. Don't accidentally move. If you want to move the wall that has a hosted wall, just move the kind of the main wall, the host wall, not the hosted wall. Now, speaking of the option bar, it was deleted for the walls. Now, it's also gone for some of the modify tools. So for join, cut, geometry, so for that, it's gone. It's here. If we go to offset, it's here. Rotate, okay, let's select an element. Yeah, it's all here. So pretty much the option bar is leaving Revit, and just be on the lookout for everything that was before on that option bar. Now it's going to be on the ribbon. We now also have greater control over line weights when it comes to linked elements. So if I go here to Visibility Graphics Overrides and then find Revit Links, I'm just going to go here to Display Settings, and then if I change this to Custom, you can see that now here we have the line weights, and then we can assign those. Do you want them to be set through the table of line weights from the hosted model, from the host model, or from the linked model? So you can pick either one of these now with this new setting. We have some updates when it comes to the analytical model. So if I go here to Analyze and then go to Energy Optimization and create an energy model, what you'll notice here is that now the edges are quite clean. So if you remember from the previous one or the previous versions, the edges were really jagged and really weren't clean. So this should now give us better results, and it also looks nicer. And also when it comes to analytics, we now have another option when it comes to feeding data into the model for later analysis. So if I go here to walls, and then let me pick out a wall that has concrete, like this one, and open up that material, what you'll see here is that for concrete, for example, we can add a new tab here for carbon. And then we can assign assets for that. So now we can add carbon assets in order to do better or more accurate calculation for the embodied carbon analysis for our projects. Thank you for watching, guys. Make sure to check out my website, balkanarchitect.com, for more Revit courses. There I have over 120 hours of content, and I'm adding more each week. Make sure to subscribe for more videos, and also I've added a video over there that might interest you as well.